Today I want to share with you the top 10 prepper pantry items you should be buying now at Costco. But don't worry if you don't belong to a Costco or you don't live near a Costco, because the items I'm going to show you can probably be found at other big box stores for good prices, and probably even maybe at your local grocery store. Hi sweet friends, I'm Mary and welcome to Mary's Nest, where I teach traditional cooking skills for making nutrient-dense foods like bone broth, ferment, sourdough, and more. So if you'd like to learn how to be a modern pioneer in the kitchen, consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to click on the little notification bell below. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. Alrighty, let's go shopping. Well, one thing I want to mention before we start shopping is the fact that we needed tires, and that's why we're here at Costco, but we actually had an appointment for our tires because they had to order them, and it took a while, and we have a very plain average car. So I just want to give you that tip. In case you need tires before the winter comes, you may want to think about getting them now because they may have to order them for you. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that anytime you want to jump ahead, be sure to open the description underneath this video or check the pinned comment, where I'll be sure to have all the chapter timestamps so you can jump ahead and watch specifically what you're interested in. Now, before we jump into the food items, I just want to share with you a few kitchen products that they have here at Costco that I think are very good buys. And for those of you who have been asking me about the glass containers I have with the snap lock lids, this is what I buy. And look, it's on sale today. I haven't seen this on sale in a while. So if you live near a Costco and you've been looking for these, $19.99 is a great price. It's a lot less than what these sell for on sites like Amazon. Now, in addition to the glass snapware that I showed you, I just want to mention that they do have the Rubbermaid Brilliance. These are plastic, but they're a real hard plastic, but these are handy if you have kids and you worry about them dropping the glass. And the good news is this is $29.99 and it's made in the USA, which is great. But something you want to keep in mind is that if you look for these on Amazon, first of all, Brilliance can sometimes be hard to find and they can be very expensive. So if you're shopping at a Costco, $29.99 is a great price. Now, right next to the Brilliance is the Snapware, but it has the plastic bottoms. Again, something that might come in handy if you have kids. And like the Brilliance I didn't mention before, that's BPA free, and this is BPA free too. And it's also made in the US. So if you want to spend a little less and you're looking for plastic, this Snapware can come in handy too. Now, I just wanted to point this out because some of you have asked me where I get my large glass measuring cups. Now, I've had mine a long time and they don't have the 8-cup one in this set. However, they do have the 4, the 2, and the 1, and it's $13.99. They are glass, they are Pyrex, and I'm confident, I haven't looked these up lately, but I'm confident if you look for these on Amazon, they're gonna be more than $13.99. So this too is, again, I know it's not food, we're talking kitchen products now, but this is a good buy and definitely something to look into if you need glass measuring cups. Now, one more household item or kitchen item that I wanted to show you are these glass bowls. This is a good buy. It's $13.99 today, $4 off, and you get a total of 4 bowls and 4 lids. One is missing, there's a little smaller one, I'll show you on the box, but these are great. These are what I like to often store my sourdough starter in because I like to keep a lot of sourdough starter. That way I have discard to make pancakes and different things. But this is a great buy. They're glass and they have nice plastic lids to keep everything neat and clean, both in the fridge and on your counter. Let's talk about canned goods. You always want to have canned goods in your prepper pantry. These are wonderful backups to anything that you home can because you always want to keep in mind multiple streams of food. You want to have things you buy at the store, things you grow, things you home can. You want to have a variety of things because you never want to run out of food, especially in emergency situations where you may not be able to get to the store. So when it comes to canned goods, let's take a minute to talk about the proteins that you can buy in cans. Now, this is a great price, $7.69. It's on sale. They're taking $3 off. You've got certified wild-caught and sustainable sardines. Now, I love sardines, and I have a recipe to show you how to make them in a way that I think you'll love them too. especially if you've never had them before or you've thought, oh, I don't like sardines. So many of you, I was so happy that so many of you told me that you tried the recipe I shared and that you found that you really did like sardines. So this is definitely something to pick up. You can't go wrong. You've got 6 cans here. That's well, a little more than $1 a can, but with the $3 off, that's a good buy. So yes, have canned proteins really gone up in price? Definitely. But this is a pretty good buy given what prices are right now. This is $15.99 for 6 cans of wild-caught salmon. And if you like the boneless and the skinless, that's what this is. I like it with the bones and the skin. The bones just dissolve in your mouth and they're high in calcium, and the skin is very rich in the omega-3s. So I like to buy mine in that way. And when they do have that, that's less expensive because a lot of people do like the little fancier boneless and skinless. But for $15.99, 6 cans of this, you can't go wrong, given today's prices. Well, we couldn't come to Costco without talking about canned foods, and specifically canned chicken. Now, has this gone up in price? Yes, but this has gone up in price everywhere, and it's really shocking to me. But you can get 6 cans of canned chicken for $15.49. And this is the type of thing that's great to keep in your prepper pantry because you can take this and mix it with some canned corn, some canned beans, some canned tomatoes, and you have a really quick and easy tortilla soup, and that you can season up with some of your spices like your cumin and your coriander, and then put some tortilla chips on top, whatever you have on hand, or maybe a dollop of sour cream, some shredded cheese, and you have dinner. So this literally, you can prepare this in 10 minutes. So definitely think about putting this in your prepper pantry. And yes, like a lot of things we're seeing today, prices have gone up, but they may continue to go up. So that's why I just want to focus on the 10 things to buy now, because I do worry that protein is going to go up in price. So yes, it's $15.49, but I would say buy at least 1 6-pack. Now, staying with canned goods, some of your tomato products are terrific to keep in your prepper pantry. This is the Rotel tomatoes, and it's got some chilies in here. It's very versatile. You can do a lot of things with it. And this is organic. Now, it is $7.99, so, you know, it's going to run, there's, how many cans? There's 8 cans in here, so it's running you basically $1 a can. It's not terrible. Yes, things have gone up in price, I know. But this is definitely something worth keeping in your prepper pantry. You could even use this like what I was talking about before, where you take your canned chicken, some canned beans, some canned corn, a can of Rotel, and you can make kind of a nice southwestern soup. So definitely think of stocking this in your prepper pantry. Now, Costco's got a whole host of canned tomato products, and a lot of them are organic. They've got the diced tomatoes, again, makes cooking very easy. They've got tomato sauce, and they've got tomato paste. And they're all organic, and they're all relatively good prices. So these are great things to stock in your prepper pantry. Now, in the canned good aisle, you're going to find all kinds of things. It's really going to just boil down to what do you like. They've got canned corn, they've got canned green beans, and again, I just want to say, these are your multiple streams of food. This is what are your backups for your home canned goods in the event that, like us, we didn't have a good garden this year. We're in a terrible drought in Central Texas. So knowing that I have some store-bought canned goods as my backup to whatever my home canned goods are is a lifesaver. So definitely just look at the canned foods, know what you've got in your own inventory. I have inventory lists for you that you can easily download, no email required, nothing like that. And I'll definitely put a link to that for you so that you can, when you shop, you can have your inventory ready to go and you'll know what you have on hand and what you need. But these canned goods are terrific for putting in your prepper pantry. They've got peas. You know I love peas. It doesn't matter whether they're canned or frozen. I love making mushy peas out of them. I think the British call. It's sort of the quick and easy version when you use canned peas. You mix them with butter, they're delicious. But they've got some chilies. They've got, let me see, I'm pushing my cart here. They've got canned beans. Those can be come in very handy if you've not had a chance to soak your dry beans. Let's see what I got. if you like refried beans, they've got that too. So there's a lot that you can choose from. Also, I'm in the aisle where they have the condiments. Yes, as backups, you can have your ketchup, you can have your mustard, but I also highly recommend that you start making these homemade and fermenting them, because they're going to be better for you in the long run. And when you add a little whey to your fermentation, to your fermented condiments, it helps extend their shelf life. So buy the tomato paste and make your own tomato ketchup. It's going to taste a lot better, and it's going to be better for you because it's going to be high in probiotics, the good bacteria that keeps our digestive system healthy. And when it comes to mayonnaise, I highly recommend that, I'm saying that, I highly recommend, try to make your own mayonnaise. Whether you use the avocado oil that I know a lot of you have talked about that you like, or you use olive oil, that's what I really like to make it with, or you can even make a blend where you do organic coconut oil, olive oil, and sesame oil. That's a wonderful blend for homemade mayonnaise. Now you know I'm going to say for your prepper pantry, you want to make sure you have some dried beans. They have a long shelf life, but what I want to share with you is, have dried beans gone up in price? Yes. These used to be the cheapest things in any store you went to. But here you can get a 10-pound bag for $12.99. And you can do a lot with black beans. Now, I am surprised I've not seen pinto beans. And we're in Texas, so pinto beans should be very common. So maybe as we work our way down, we'll find some. But for 10 pounds at $12.99, you can stock up here on these. But I highly recommend that you check your grocery store and also check your local Walmart, because you might be able to get them for a little less than this. However, keep in mind, these are organic black beans, so they're going to be very easy to soak and to sprout, and they'll probably cook up beautifully. And so if you are worried about buying beans that are non-organic, then this is a good buy and a good choice, because it's just going to be a little over $1 a pound. Next, if you're a coffee drinker like me, you want to make sure that you have coffee on hand. I really like to keep the beans, because if you store them correctly, they last a lot longer, stay fresher a lot longer than the ground coffee. And what's great is these are organic, and this is a 2.2 pound bag, so a little over 2 pounds, and it's only $14.99. You can't go wrong. Now what I've got here is a medium roast, but they also have a dark roast, and they even have an espresso roast. And it's $15.79 for the espresso roast, and it's organic. For these whole bean coffee beans, you can't go wrong. Now this is just the brand that I'm picking, but Costco has a huge selection of coffee, both the coffee beans and ground coffee. But for your prepper pantry, I recommend that you buy the coffee beans. Now honey and maple syrup are great sweeteners because they're whole sweeteners. They're the real deal, not white sugar. And they're easy to store in your prepper pantry. And I love the fact that this is raw and organic. And each one of these bears is 1.5 pounds, and you get 3 of them for $15.99. That's a great price for organic honey and raw honey. And what's wonderful is many recipes that I share with you require you to have a pourable honey, and this makes it so easy. Well, I have my sweet husband, Ted, filming this with our phone. Now, what I want to say is when he pans in to show some of the different products I'm holding, you're probably going to notice, yes, I am covered in dog hair. And the reason is we brought our sweet Indy for a play date with some friends, and he has to sit on my lap in the car, all 100 pounds of him. And so, yes, I am covered in dog hair. But you know what I always say? Every outfit looks better with a little dog hair on it. Now, in addition to the honey I showed you in the little bears, they also have other honeys here at Costco. They've got this big 5-pound jug. You can't go wrong with this one. But what I love about this is a Texas honey. So regardless of where you live, if you can find honey that's local to your area or local to your state, definitely think about getting some of that. Because there are some studies that say that people who take local honey can help sort of throw away various allergies they may have. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now they also have maple syrup for $12.49, which again can't be beat. Now, Do I like the darker amber than the lighter amber? Yes, but I still think that this is a good buy. It's a whole sweetener, a real sweetener, and it's a great option over white sugar. Also, if you have to make a choice between honey and maple syrup is great if you follow the glycemic index diet, because maple syrup raises your blood sugar less than honey and white sugar. So that's good news. And you can't go wrong for the price. And the expiration date is through March of 2024. However, I will say that if you buy maple syrup, this is basically a forever food until it's opened. Once you open it, then you're going to want to count, when it's going to expire. But in the refrigerator, I think you're going to get at least a year's lifespan out of this, if it lasts that long. However, keep in mind, if you put it in your prepper pantry and you don't open it, to me, this is a forever food. Now, one thing I want to say, and this is why I was saying to shop now, this store is packed. It's so crowded and it's so noisy, but I really appreciate you bearing with me because I'm trying to talk loudly and do my best so that you can hear me. But know that it's really crowded. Now, I wanted to show you that they do have Manuka honey. Now, there's no getting around it. Manuka honey is always expensive, but the good news is today it's on sale for $6 off, and $6 off to have Manuka honey. Why do we want Manuka honey? Because it's very high in antibacterial and antiviral properties that are wonderful for you if you come down with an illness. I always take this if I'm feeling sick, and I do feel that it does make a difference in helping me recover quicker. Now, in addition to honey and maple syrup, I really like to look for organic jams and jellies here at Costco. And this one is terrific because as I've shared with you in the past, if I'm not making my own and I'm going to buy a jam, I always look for those that put fruit as the first ingredient, never sugar. And for $7.99 for a big jar of organic jam like this, this is terrific. Plus, what I love about this, it's made with blackberries and they're so nutritious. And if you prefer strawberries over blackberries, they've got that too. And it's organic, and the strawberries are the first ingredient. So you can't go wrong. It's $1 more, but if you really like strawberry jam and you don't make your own, it's $8.99. But if you want to learn how to make your own, I've got lots of videos to show you how to make low sugar, no sugar, all kinds of strawberry jam. I'll be sure to link to those in the iCard. But for $8.99, this is a good buy, and it's fruit first. Now this is organic cane sugar, which is what I like, and it's $8.99 for 10 pounds. Again, a great buy. So if you need sugar for making jams and jellies, or if you need it for certain baked items that you're making, this is definitely something to keep in your prepper pantry. And it's got a great shelf life. This has an expiration date or a best buy date somewhere through 2025. But the bottom line is, white sugar is a forever food, so you never have to worry about it going bad. Now, if you're going to have jam, you want to make sure you've got some nut butters. They've got peanut butter, and they also have almond butter. And the expiration date is a year from now. So this is perfect for your prepper pantry. And the price is $9.99. For 2 big jars like this, you can't go wrong. Now, the almond butter is organic, which is great, but it is more expensive than the peanut butter. But if you have a peanut butter allergy, this is still a better buy than anything, at least that I can find at my local grocery store. Now, this is cold-pressed, organic, extra virgin olive oil, and it's only $12.99. You can't go wrong with that price. Now, this is from olives that are grown all over the Mediterranean, so it's not specific to one country. But I think this is fine for cooking with and also for making salad dressings. And don't worry, you can cook with olive oil. And when I cook with olive oil, I only use extra virgin olive oil, and I just stay below the smoke point for olive oil, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And chances are, unless you're deep frying, if you're sauteing on your stovetop, you're going to be sauteing at about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And Italians, like my mom, they always saute in olive oil. Now, if you're looking for olive oil that's specifically made from Italian olives, they've got that here too. And it's only $10.99, and it's organic. You can't go wrong. Now, I know I've shared with all of you, I'm not a huge fan of avocado oil, but I did want to show this to you for those of you who are. This is a little expensive. It's $21.49. However, it's 2 liters. So if you're shopping for it, and it's the Chosen brand, I also wanted to show you this because their packaging has changed. It is in plastic. They used to sell it in glass bottles. I don't know if that, makes a difference to some of you, but they do have a different packaging, and it is 2 liters. It's $21, as I said, and 49 cents. It seems a little expensive to me, but if avocado oil is something that you like, they definitely carry it here. Now, they do have an organic avocado oil, and it is packed in glass. It is a little expensive. It's $15.89, and this is just 1 liter. But if you want it packed in glass and you want organic, they've got it. Costco's got it. Now let's take a minute to talk about ghee. I love ghee, and I love this brand, but it's expensive. It's organic, and it's from cows that have been grass-fed, 100% grass-fed. So in terms of a nutrient-dense food, you can't go wrong with this. Now, my girlfriend Jackie shows you how to make your own ghee. It's very easy to do, and she walks you through the whole process. And I'll definitely link to her video in case you want to make it yourself, which I highly recommend. But if you want to buy some ghee just to have in your prepper pantry, just for emergencies, this is a fantastic brand. But again, be prepared, it is a little expensive. Now, I love using coconut oil for baking, especially when I'm baking something that has a lot of spices in it, so there's no concern about the coconut flavor really coming through. And this is fantastic because this is only $13.99, and it's organic, cold pressed, and unrefined. I like unrefined coconut oil because the less refined it is, the better. And the reason that you want your coconut oil the least processed as possible, because it stays as nutritious as possible, and there's no damage created when they're heating it to refine it. So when it's unrefined, it's much better for you. So for $13.99, and this is over 5 pounds, and it's organic, you can't go wrong. Alrighty, well, if you're gonna have beans, you're gonna wanna have rice. They go together beautifully. And this is 25 pounds for $10.99. And this is a nice enriched long grain white rice. And white rice is what you want for your prepper pantry, because when you store it properly, it has a very long shelf life, as opposed to brown rice, which has a much shorter shelf life because it's more inclined to go rancid because of the bran and the germ that's still intact. Is it more nutritious? Yes, but you can do so much with white rice to make it more nutritious. For example, if you make your homemade bone broth and you've got that canned and it's in your prepper pantry, you can go ahead and use that bone broth in place of water, which is going to make this more nutritious. Then add in a little bit of your ghee or a little bit of olive oil so you've got some good fat in there, and now you've made something that's very nutritious. Now, I know jasmine rice is delicious, but I do have a little sticker shock when I look at this. This is a 50-pound bag, but it's $40.99. So it's actually running about twice the price of the long grain rice. So I might forgo this because that's kind of on the expensive side. But is it going to be going up in price? Maybe. I don't know. So if you like jasmine, it may be something that you do want to stock up on now. But that's kind of a high price. Now, they also have basmati rice, which is also very flavorful, but it's $19.99 for 20 pounds. So that's $1 per pound. So that's expensive too. Now, I love steel cut oats, and these are organic, which is great. The only drawback is, if you notice, it says quick cooking. I prefer the ones that you have to slow cook. However, you can cook these in the same way that you would slow cook the regular steel cut oats. And so you can go ahead and soak these overnight and try to deactivate a little bit of the phytic acid in them and still have a wonderful porridge ready for you in the morning. So this is definitely something to consider. Now, I just want to show you this flour. I really want to focus on things like rice and whole grains. However, if you want to keep some flour on hand and you want all-purpose flour, they do have organic, unbleached all-purpose flour. Each bag is 10 pounds, so this is a total of 20 pounds, and it's $16.79. I know flour has really gone up in price, whether it's regular or organic, but I did want to show you that they have this here. Now, how long is this going to stay fresh? You're probably going to want to store this really well in 5-gallon buckets. and maybe put some bay leaves in there and to help keep the pests away. But after a year or two, this is going to start to, this is my humble opinion, but I do think that flour does start to take a bit of a stale or off taste, and that's going to transfer to your baked goods. So I always recommend storing whole grains and then eventually investing in some type of grain mill like the Mock Mill, which I absolutely love. However, and I have a coupon code for you if that's something you're interested in maybe treating yourself to for Christmas. However, what I do want to mention, if you have one of those high-speed blenders, you can grind grain in those. You do want to check with the manufacturer because sometimes you need a different type of vessel when you go to grind it. However, there's a lot of videos on YouTube where manufacturers like Vitamix and things like that show that you can grind whole grain in their mixers with the right container. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you do need all-purpose flour and you want all-purpose flour, you can get 20 pounds for $16.79. Well, I have to share with you, I just met a lovely lady who was shopping here, and she gave me such a good tip that I wanted to share with you. If you keep a lot of flour on hand as opposed to whole grain, and we're not talking whole grain flours because those go rancid quickly, but if you keep all-purpose flour or bread flour on hand that's had the bran and the germs sifted out of it, what she does is she takes all-purpose flour, she puts 5 pounds of it into a brown paper bag, then she puts that brown paper bag into a plastic bag, and then she, like a food saver plastic bag, and then she uses her food saver to suck out all the air and seal the bag. And this way, you know, because if you try to put flour in a bag, it's going to clog the machine, you know, in the food saver bag. But she puts it in the brown paper bag first, and then into the plastic bag. And also, too, you're protecting your flour from the plastic that's in the plastic bag. And then she takes those 5-gallon bags that she sealed, and then she puts them in something, you know, that protects them from rodents and so on and so forth, whether it's a 5-gallon bucket or some kind of, you know, big plastic tub and whatnot. So I thought that was such a good tip that she shared, and I wanted to share with you because I think doing it like that will really, I don't keep a ton of all-purpose flour or bread flour on hand. As I said, I like to keep whole grains and then grind them fresh. But if you do that, I think that is a great tip because then you're not constantly opening your bucket. You're just opening your bucket and taking out that 5 gallons, and it's in a brown paper bag that then has been sealed in the plastic bag. So you've got fresh flour, and she said that even stuff that she has, whoa, it's fallen over, even stuff she has from the pre-pandemic, so she's talking 2018, 2019, and when she opened it recently, it still was fresh. It hadn't taken on any off odor or off flavor. So definitely stock up on this and seal it like that. Now, I just want to mention, if you're looking for something that's not organic, they do have 25-pound bags of flour for $9.99. And they've got 50 pounds, again, not organic, but they've got 50 pounds for $19.49. Now, one thing I want to mention, Costco, Sam's, you know, Walmart, all the big box stores, they have a lot of options to choose from for your prepper pantry. Today, what I'm trying to focus on are the 10 things you want to buy now, especially if you're just starting out stocking your prepper pantry. But I do want to show you that they have a lot of stuff here at Costco. Things like quinoa, they've got the hemp hearts, they've got the chia seeds, they have different types of dal. There are all kinds of things that you can find that are non-perishable that you can stock in your prepper pantry. So know that there's a wide variety of things. I'm not going to go over everything. I do have videos where I go into a lot of detail, but I really wanted to focus today on 10 things to buy now to help you get started. Now, I just want to mention, you may be wondering why I've not shared any packages of pasta and jars of tomato sauce. They definitely have this here, and they even have organic pasta, and they've got some good prices. But I find that I can get even better prices at my grocery store, and a brand that I like better, both in the pasta and in the pasta sauce. And often when it comes to pasta sauce, I make it homemade, so I only keep a few jars or a few cans of that on hand. However, you can get that here if that's something that you do want to consider putting in your prepper pantry. And remember, don't forget your herbs and spices. These are great for the prepper pantry. And yes, people may say they lose some of their potency after a year or 2 years, but I've heard from so many of you, and I agree with you, herbs and spices last a lot longer than that. And even if they do lose a little bit of their potency, you can always just use a little extra and it'll be fine. But when it comes to stocking your prepper pantry, herbs and spices are a great thing to keep in there. Now, when we're talking about flowers and then herbs and spices and all of that, I just want to mention that they do sell baking soda, and this is so heavy I can barely pick it up. But it's $7.79, and this is over 13 pounds of baking soda. And again, like with so many things, I don't worry about expiration dates on this. I've had baking soda that's many years old. I test it with a little vinegar and it still bubbles up. So I definitely think baking soda for the prepper pantry is terrific, because not only are you going to use it in your cooking and your baking, you can also use it for cleaning. So it's like one of those multi-purpose things that's always great to be, if you want to be prepared, have baking soda on hand. Now again, talking about herbs and spices and baking soda, right next to the baking soda is the raw apple cider vinegar, and this one is unfiltered and it has the mother. Now it's $7.99. Now this is good maybe to just have a few of these as backup in your pantry, in your prepper pantry, but like I always say, raw apple cider vinegar is something that's pretty easy to make. Now let's talk about that just for 1 second. I know that what I show you how to make is actually like a raw fruit scrap apple cider vinegar. So it's not 100% actually apple cider vinegar. But I feel making apple cider vinegar with apple cider is a waste of good apple cider. So why not just use all your apple scraps and then make a fruit scrap apple cider vinegar? And it tastes the same. Let's face it, if you've been making it, you know yours is going to look a lot darker than this, and it's going to have a lot more of the mother in it. However, just as a backup, or if you're not making it homemade, I do want you to know Costco has it, and you get 3 of them. Now, I wanted to show you that they do have the pink salt here, and many of you have asked me, is it okay to use the pink salt for fermenting? And yes, it is. The pink salt is fine. It's just salt with no anti-caking agents, no other chemicals, so it works great. However, this is just kind of a generic pink salt brand, and it's $7.99. If you prefer the Redmond Real Salt, which many of you have shared with me that you really do like, you're in luck, because if you check the description underneath this video, I have a coupon code for you that you can get a discount when you order Redmond Real Salt from the Redmond Company. So yes, they have pink salt here at Costco, but keep in mind, there's the Redmond Real Salt, which I know many of you do love. Now, since we were talking about flour and baking soda and herbs and spices, I couldn't pass this up without letting you all know that they have a cacao powder, and this is organic, free trade. It's $9.59. You can't beat this price. If you look this up on Amazon, I'm almost confident you're going to pay more. And for 2 pounds, for under $10, this is going to serve you very well. And what's nice is, being that it's just the cacao powder, you can use this in any way you want. You can put it in smoothies, you can use it for baking, so on and so forth. And you control the sugar, because there's no sugar in this. It's just the straight cacao powder. Now, they do have organic chicken stock, and they've also got something that they call chicken bone broth. It's also organic, but I highly recommend that you make this homemade. This is expensive, so what I would recommend, that if you really do want to have this on hand, just buy 1 package and just put it in your prepper pantry, and then just make sure to use it up before it hits its best by date, because this type of thing really doesn't, at least it's been my experiment, my personal experience when I've tried this, that if you keep it too long past the best by date, it does develop an off flavor. So you can keep 1 in your prepper pantry, but definitely make this stuff homemade. And I know a lot of you have said, oh, but if I can it, I'm going to break the gelatin. And yes, that is true. But the gelatin has already been broken on these because they've been processed and packaged to make them shelf stable. So you can always take your bone broth and pressure can it and put it in your prepper pantry as backup. It's still nutritious. The gelatin isn't perfect, but it's still nutritious and more nutritious than these boxed items. So that can be your emergency backup. Now, when it comes to spices and seasonings and all of that, we use a lot of soy sauce in our house, but I really like the real deal. Actual, real, fermented soy sauce, not what they sell at the grocery store. But that can be a little harder to find. But if you do like that kind of salty, sort of tangy flavor, and you can't find fermented soy sauce, which is the real soy sauce, then these coconut aminos make a wonderful substitute. And they do have them here at Costco, and they're $9.99 for a big bottle like this. This is a good buy, because if you look at this, probably, even if your grocery store does carry this, it's probably going to be more expensive, and definitely at Whole Foods, it's going to be a smaller bottle and more expensive. Now, you all know I'm not a fan of avocado oil, but I know so many of you love this mayonnaise, and I wanted to show you the big container that they have here for $9.99. So know that if you're, you want to have a backup in the event that you haven't made your own homemade mayonnaise, or you've run out of the ingredients, whatever the case may be, to be able to make it homemade, and you want to have some mayonnaise in your prepper pantry that is a healthier one than a lot of the ones sold at the grocery store today that are all made with soybean oil. And we don't want soybean oil in our traditional foods kitchens because it's highly processed, and that whenever an oil is highly processed, it can cause inflammation in our body. And so that's something that we really want to avoid whenever we can. So if you do like this Primal Kitchen, they've got this big 32-ounce jar for $9.99. You can't go wrong with that if this is what you like. Well, when it comes to sweets and treats, I'm going to lean to the biscotti. It's the Italian in me. And these are terrific buy because they're $3.60 off today for a total of $7.39. Yes, can you make these? Definitely. But being able to have these in your prepper pantry is a real treat. And here's another brand they have. These are just smaller little ones. There's no chocolate on them. They're also not individually wrapped. That's something I like about those. They're individually wrapped. And these are available though if you want something without chocolate, and they're $11.99. Now both of these have Best Buy dates through 2023, so hopefully you can put them in your prepper pantry, have them available to you this winter to enjoy with coffee, and then next spring you can just restock your prepper pantry for any other types of sweets and treats that you want for the warmer months. Now Costco has a huge selection of dried fruit, which can be great for kind of your sweets and treats category as well as baking. And this is it's heavy. This is a 4-pound box, but broken out into two 2-pound bags of organic raisins for $12.49. Now, I'm going to have to look at this at my grocery store because I'm thinking that I might be able to get a better price at my grocery store. So it's, you got to shop and you kind of got to know prices. Now, everything's going up in price, so maybe this is a good deal. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely check. But I just wanted to let you know they've got lots of dried fruit. They've got cranberries, or these are the craisins. They've got the Montmorency cherries, the tart cherries. They've got dried blueberries. They have dates, which are wonderful. They even have dried figs. So a big selection. And they've got dried mango, a big selection of things. Now, in addition to canned vegetables, they've got a lot of jarred fruit options. They've got some peaches over there, and they've got some organic applesauce here. Now, these are 6 jars, and they have a Best Buy date, I think, kind of through 2024. So that's something that's very good for your prepper pantry. But you can also make a lot of homemade applesauce and then home can it. But again, multiple streams of food. This can be a good backup if you like eating applesauce or if you like baking with it. Last but not least, the most important thing you always want to make sure that you have plenty on hand in your prepper pantry is water. Now, this is just simple drinking water. It's not fancy spring water or anything like that, but it doesn't matter when you're talking about stocking it in your prepper pantry for emergencies. You get 40 bottles of water, and it's $4.19. So make sure that you got a couple of cases of this in your prepper pantry. Now, when you pick up your water, you may also want to think about getting a water multiplier, and it's on sale today. So definitely have this as part of not only your prepper pantry, but in that section that you call your survival pantry or your emergency pantry. Are they perfect? Do they have sugar in them? They're not perfect. However, in an emergency, if you need to spread out your water, especially if you're putting a bug out bag together where you can't carry a lot of water, something like this can come in real handy. And it's on sale. Now, if you want something more than just basic drinking water, Costco has a whole variety of water. They've got spring water, they've even got the fancy waters like Fiji water, and they've got them in all different sizes. So you can buy what'll fit your need and what'll also fit in your prepper pantry, but make sure you have enough water to at least last you for everybody in your household for about 2 weeks. Now, if you'd like to learn more about stocking a prepper pantry, how to do it on $5 a week, and also how to store your food properly, then be sure to click on this video over here where I have a complete prepper pantry playlist. And I look forward to seeing you over there, back in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.